Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Great. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about the Middle East and maybe she has an idea of an exit strategy. Yeah. No. Maybe she has a good pitch. Yeah. Oh, should I ask her about Korea? Maybe ever point it out to us on a globe? I don't understand the young talent in this town. It doesn't make any sense. I got 4 jobs. Hell, I'm more famous than half the people we talk to anyway. Nobody stands up. Nobody has the balls to sit them down eye to eye, one-on-one, and say, look, just cut the shit. But everybody works for them. They're all on the payroll. They're all sucking the teeth. Nobody stands up, sits them down, eye to eye, one-on-one, and says, cut the shit. And all these stars just to fuck it up. That's what they do. They fuck my day up. And it pisses me off. And now I'm sweating.
Olivia, take 1.
I'm sorry to hear about your father. The Lord will find a way to guide you.
I've always struggled with that argument. Because after every natural disaster, there's always that one person who's like, God saved me for a reason, or for a higher purpose. As if their purpose matters more than the 6-year-old that died that day, or the newborn child who died that day, or literally any other fucking person who died that day. So what you're telling me is that God didn't save my dad because he didn't believe in him? Because I could argue that my dad had a purpose. I think his purpose was to take care of me, and my mum, and my sister. But he's fucking dead. And if you're gonna try and tell me that he died for a reason, Father, I will get up and I will just walk the fuck out, because I don't think he did. He didn't die for a reason. Or to teach me anything, he just fucking died. I mean, it's the same way that you said I was born with wires crossed. It's just fucking luck. You said it.
Annie, take 1.
Hi everyone, we have a new member in the group today. This is Alan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Ellen. I'm a mom. And my kids come first, but in between rides to soccer practice and packing lunches, things can really slip through the cracks. Like really important things like nutrition. For instance, did you know that the leading brand of orange juice contains twice the amount of sugar that your kids should be getting in a day? When I found that out, I fucking lost it. I had been giving my kids leading brand orange juice their entire lives. I thought, if I'm capable of that, what else am I capable of? And so I panicked. I took the plates off my Honda and I started driving, and I kept thinking, Ellen, turn around. But I didn't turn around. I wound up in this beat-up motel in Arizona, and there was this girl in the room beside me. Her name was Puka, like the shell. And Puka introduced me to the world of dog fighting and death metal. She didn't introduce me to cocaine, though. No, I found that just fine on my own.
Okay, Blair, take 1.
You think this is all fake, don't you? Your dirty fingerprints all over me. It was bound to happen because of the little seed you planted. Well, let me educate you. Let me teach you something. Even no matter what the situation is, you can make it good. Like with plaster and brick. But you never knew that, because you never fucking lifted a finger. But you can take a situation and draw a circle around it, to try and work something out. You don't drive away from it. Sit in the corner of some greasy little pub somewhere, like you're the fucking happy maverick. I could come for you, with a pick and a shovel. I really could. And dig you up. And it would be a happy day in hell, because they'd be rid of you. A bit.
Marking it now. Sinead, take one.
Lillian, this is not the you I know. The you that I know would have walked in here and rolled your eyes and thought that this whole thing was over the top, ridiculous, and stupid. Look at this shower. Look at that fucking cookie. Did you really think this group of women would finish that cookie? That stupid fucking cookie. We're all thinking it, right? Ooh, delicious. Ooh, maybe it's better if I dip it in the chocolate. Is this what you want, Lillian? Nothing says friendship like 1,000 gallons of unsanitary chocolate. What am I doing? Well, let me fill you in. Ever since you got engaged, everything's turned to shit. It's all her fault, not mine. You'd know that if you got your beautifully haired head out of your asshole. In fact, out of her asshole, which I'm sure is perfectly bleached. I'm happy for you, Lillian. I am very happy for you. I wish you well, and I won't bother you anymore.
And Rob, take one.
Hey man, look, I need to say something. It's not a big secret. Your mom and I are in hell right now. And bottom line is, marriage is hard. Really fucking hard. Just two people slogging through this shit year after year, getting older, changing. It's a fucking marathon, okay? So, sometimes, you know, you're together for so long that you stop seeing the other person. You just see weird projections of your own junk. Instead of talking to each other, you go off the rails and act stupid and make even worse choices, which is what I did. Sometimes you hurt the ones you love the most. I don't know why. Anyways, I just wanted to say how sorry I am for what I did, and I hope you can forgive me. Good talk.
Sarah, take one.
The therapists have been working with me to fill in my memories of those missing hours. reclaiming the event, they call it. It's kind of a fun exercise. I can tell them fucking anything and they'll just write it down and nod. The medication's making me sleep and dream a ton, which I never used to do. You're in most of them. In one of the recurring ones, we're in your living room and I've just damned your drug screwdriver and you're screaming at me, asking me why I did it. And I want to tell you that I did it because I loved you. Because I still do, and because I knew how happy you could be. So much happier than I ever could, but how tied down you were by your own fear and guilt. You never really wanted my friendship anyway. So I gave you the best thing I could. The thing you always wanted to take anyway, I think.
Isaac, what?
It's been 2 months since Anna last spoke to me. And her new boyfriend has an incredibly long neck. Just thinking about giraffes makes me angry now. I wish I could hand in this excuse note. Dear Mr. Davy, please may Oliver be excused from class. His tiny heart is broken. Yours sincerely, Nolte. In my other recurring dream, I mentally rehearse the end scene. The one where it's getting dark and I mistake a girl for Anna. A girl with the exact same frame and the exact same hair. And when she turns around, I see her face is nothing like Anna's. She asks, "Do I know you?" And I look traumatized and say, "No, you don't know me. You don't know me. That's all."
Eimear, take one.
You are not worthless to me. How dare you? You're my sister. I love you guys. I need you guys, but that doesn't mean you get to sit around for the rest of my life telling me who I'm supposed to be. Because you weren't there. You weren't inside of my head when I was fucked up, and you're certainly not there now. You have no idea how I feel. Yes, I took Ethan for granted. I was stoned out of my mind, but who am I supposed to be now? You have no idea how I feel, and I could be Mother Teresa. It wouldn't make a difference what I did. Did I sacrifice every bit of love in this life because I killed our little brother? Well, it was an accident, and I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry.
Chris, take one.
Yeah, I know. But before you say anything, it was my decision. She wanted me back, but I said no. I just had a moment of clarity, like, I woke up. It's sort of like when you have an orgasm on your own, you know? You're lying on the sofa watching some porn movie you bought on a drunken, lonely night in Soho, and everything is really great. You know, you're getting totally turned on by these absurdly graphic images, and everything feels so right. And suddenly, bingo. And you wake up desperately looking for the tissue, which is somewhere in your pocket. And it's like walking in on yourself. Like, what are you doing? That's how I felt tonight. Sitting there, feeling my heart miss a beat every time the door opened, like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, that's loving it. Load of old wank.
And the scene, take one.
For as long as I can remember, everybody loved me. I never knew exactly what it was. I just knew that it had something special, and it gave me confidence. That's why I love pageantry. Because you didn't have to be the prettiest, or the tallest, or the blondest, or the whitest. You just had to have that fucking confidence. But then I realized how much I like not doing anything. I would never say it out loud, especially not today, because everybody's so political. But I never really had any desire to have a career or job. My mother gave pedicures to rich people, and I quickly realized that there are two kinds of people in the world. The people who sit in the chair with their feet in the foot bath, and the people who kneel in front of them. I used to study the women who came in and pay attention to what they wore or talked about, and I realized that none of them actually did anything. I mean, they may have like children to raise or homes to decorate, but at the end of the day, they literally did nothing. Literally nothing. And strangely, none of them had confidence.
Marcell, take one.
Let me give you a little inside information about God. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you this amazing gift. And then what's he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private little cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. Is the goof of all time. Look but don't touch. Touch but don't taste. And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what's he up to? Laughing his sick fucking ass off. I'm a fan of man. A humanist. Maybe the last humanist. Who in their right mind, Kevin, could possibly deny the 20th century was entirely mine? All of it. All of it, Kevin. All of it. Mine.
Maria, take one.
I've real trouble telling the truth. Don't understand the concept, actually. But somebody told me it was important, so here goes. Most of the time, most days, I feel nothing. I don't feel anything. It's so boring. I wake up and I think, again, really? I have to do this again. Well, what I don't understand is how come everyone else isn't screaming with boredom too? And I try to find ways to make myself feel something more and more and more, but it doesn't make any difference. No matter what I do, I don't feel anything. I hurt myself, doesn't hurt. I buy what I want, don't want it. Do what I like, I don't like it. Just so bored.
Got it? Yeah. Alex, take one.
My great-grandmother had just died, and my whole family were visiting down in Florida. I was about 3, maybe 3.5 years old. Anyway, I was in the backyard playing, and My sister had just taught me how to take the garden hose and do it in such a way that it sprayed into the sun. And so I was doing that, and through the mist I could see my grandmother, and she was just standing there smiling at me, and I held it there for a long time, and I looked at her, and then finally I let go, and I dropped the hose, and she disappeared. So I run back inside and I tell my parents, you know, and they sit me down and give me this big rap on how when people die, you never see them again, how I'd imagined it, but I knew what I'd seen. I was just glad that I saw it. Never seen anything like that since. Well, I guess it just let me know how ambiguous everything was. You know, even death.
Dylan, take one.
You probably haven't heard the story of the scorpion and the frog. The scorpion wants to cross a river, but he can't swim. So he goes to the frog, who can, and asks for a ride. Frog says, well, if I give you a ride on my back, you'll go and sting me. The scorpion replied, well, it wouldn't really be in my interest to sting you, seeing as I'll be on your back and we'd both drown. So Frog thinks about this logic for a while and then accepts the deal. Takes the scorpion on his back, braves the waters, but halfway over, he feels a burning spear in his side and realizes the scorpion stung him after all. And as they both sink beneath the waves, the frog cries out, "Why'd you sting me, Mr. Scorpion?" For now we'll both drown. And the scorpion replied, "I can't help it. It's just in my nature."
Shauna, take one.
You know, you never told me if you had a wife. You should date my mother. Her last boyfriend turned out to be an internet perv. So she's very fragile, very, oh, save me, but men like that though, right? Because at the end of the day, you all want to be a hero. But what you don't realize is it doesn't matter. It's confidence. The most confident person in the room wins every single time. And it doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if they're pulling it straight out of their ass. People are dumb. They don't know the difference. I'm gonna tell you the real reason why I'm having lunch with you today. I don't really have any friends at the moment. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not interested at all. My entire generation are a bunch of mouth breathers. They literally have a seizure if you take their phone away for a second. Like, they think the world actually wants to know that they are eating a sandwich, exclamation point, smiley face, like we give a fuck. I'm an old soul. And I like old music, and old movies, and even old people.
Okay, Ciarán, take one.
Listen here. I have ideas, and my ideas work. I don't care what awards you won or what magazine says you're the next big thing. Fact is, you work for me in my restaurant. I've had chefs before you in this kitchen, and I will have chefs after you. We're being reviewed by perhaps the most influential food magazine in the country. Not to mention this guy's online presence. His blog just got bought by AOL. Now this restaurant is mine. I own, not you. All the freedom you have to chase your culinary muse and the money you have to support your child and pay alimony comes because I know what I'm doing. And I pay you well above market value. This is the menu for tonight. Shut the fuck up and do your fucking job.
Sofia, take one.
It was one of those days, a minute away from snowing. And there is this electricity in the air. You can almost hear it. And this bag was just dancing with me, like a little kid, begging me to play with it. That's the day I realized there is this entire life behind things. And this incredibly benevolent force wanted me to know there is no reason to be afraid. It is a poor excuse, I know, but it helps me remember sometimes there is so much beauty in the world. I feel like I can't take it.
And Rhys, one.
Hazel, like so many before you, and I say this with great affection, you're a moron. You were young and impressionable, I will give you that. Grim Reaper was staring you in the face, the fear of dying with your one true wish being ungranted. You made a wish you didn't really want. For how could you have realized that your one true wish was to visit a Mr. Peter Van Houten in his Amsterdamian exile? If you were smart, you would have saved your wish. For a time in your life when you felt, okay, I know my true self. Luckily for you, I saved mine. I'm not going to give you my wish or anything, because I too have an interest in meeting a Peter Van Houten. But it wouldn't make much sense to visit him without the girl who introduced me to his book. I talked to the genies, Hazel. We're in total agreement. We leave in a month.
Okay, Colleen, take one.
Are you done? The part you guys never seem to realize is you don't have the power anymore. The news division is held up by my show, and the only thing keeping us afloat is me. Because guess what? America loves me. Therefore, I own America. It's pretty simple, but so easy for you guys to forget. You're all so convinced that you're the rightful owner to all the power that it doesn't even occur to you that someone else could be in the driver's seat. You would have to so gingerly step around all of your male egos in order not to burst this precious little bubble. Well, surprise, I'm bursting it. We're doing things my way because, frankly, I've let you bozos handle this long enough. Was that not the apology you were expecting?
Cian, take one.
All right, it's like this. You wake up and you watch TV. You get in your car, you listen to the radio, then you go to your little job or your little school. you'll never hear about that on the 6 o'clock news. Why? Because nothing's really happening. And you go home and you watch more TV. Or maybe it's a fun night and you go out and you watch a movie. I mean, it's gotten so bad that half the time people on TV, inside the TV, they're watching TV. And what are all these people watching? People like me. I mean, what are all of you doing right now but watching me? What, you don't think they would have changed the channel by now if all I did was get an A in geometry?
Cameras are rolling. Sounds sweet. And Bríd, take one.
Yeah, well, Bob probably does think you're crazy. Thinks all this is a little uncalled for, and this whole personal space thing is all going a bit too far. And he's very confident in his view because he's gone exploring. See for himself what boundaries and violations these women might be banging on about, because Bob's thorough. And on his explorations, he found the line that separated him from everything else. And rather than crossing it, he tiptoed along it. And he experienced this feeling of being on the boundary, on the border, right on the line of being in one place or another, and saw how in this grey area, where nothing was quite clear, no one could be clear. Can't articulate, fuddle our words, couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was he did that we felt was so wrong. So yeah, Bob thinks you're crazy. He thinks he's the smartest man in the room who knows all things because he's observed the detail. But we have to start observing Bob. Telling him, we do see the detail. We see you, Bob. And because we see you, we are right there with you, tiptoeing, in line, right behind you, and in that place, we will show you exactly what we mean by violation.
Ryan, take one.
When the Japs attacked Pearl Harbor, I took it personal. Everybody was on fire to join up, including me. 2 men from my hometown were declared 4F unfit, and they killed themselves because they couldn't serve. I had a job in a defense plant, and I could have gotten a deferment, but that ain't right. It isn't right that I should sit here safe at home while other men fight and die. I have to serve. I have the passion and the energy to serve as a medic, right there in the middle with the other guys. No less danger. It's just, while they're trying to take life, I'm going to be saving it. And with the world so set on tearing itself apart, I don't see why it's such a bad idea for me to want to put a little bit of it back together again.
Here we go. Holly, take one.
Believe it or not, Regina and I grew up together. We were childhood best friends. Inseparable. Until the summer I turned 9 and became aware of the difference in our stations. But even though we've grown apart, I've never known Regina to lie. So if she says I killed her, then she must be dead. But what she didn't tell you is the absolute conviction that I'm gonna get away with it. And my family owns the biggest brands of frozen foods across America.
So including this estate and the stocks and bonds held in trust for my grandfather. The fortune left to me could easily sustain a small country. But more importantly, I've been imbued with the light. I've seen the face of God, and He's looking at me from the mirror. I can think of nothing that can stop me now.
Here we go. Marking it. Lewis, take one.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives, and it all comes down to today. Now, we either heal as a team, or we crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, until we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen, believe me. Now, we can sit here and get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of this hell, 1 inch at a time. Now, I wish I could do it for you, but I can't. Just can't. Now, you go get him.
Jess, take one.
The other thing about depression is it kind of collapses time. Suddenly you find your whole days blending together to create one endless and suffocating loop. And you try to remember the things that made you happy. But slowly your brain begins to erase every memory that ever brought you joy. And all you can think about is how life has always been this way and will only continue to be this way. I had this therapist once who said these states will wax and wane, which gave my mother relief because it meant that in the bad times, there'd be good times. But it also gave her anxiety because it meant that in the good times, there would be bad times. And it always confused me because I never understood what it meant. Granted, it did sound a lot calmer than the way I would describe it. And it wasn't until later, until I realized what waxing and waning implied. That these feelings were fixed and constant. And would never end for the rest of my life.